It was almost like I started to look at life with a completely different perspective. So I got the validation that I asked for, but definitely not in the most ideal way. I was never really actually born to fit in. I was born to stand out. That is something that I really, really want every single one of you to know. There's nothing more powerful than your conviction. Every single thing that you want, you're already connected to that. If you want it, you get to be the vibrational frequency for whatever it is that you desire. It's official, the very first episode of I Am with Jenna Phillips Ballard. I cannot believe it, guys. Literally, I have wanted to have a podcast for a very long time, and I had a million reasons why to not do it. And of course, it's a whole project. There are so many logistics. There are a million podcasts out there. And I know that there are a lot of people who also have reasons why to not start a podcast. But why I decided to finally start one is because, well, I get to embody the very thing that I stand people to break through, to overcome limiting beliefs and to know that they can literally cause and create whatever they want, that it's never too late, and that you're worthy of creating the exact thing that you want to create. You are worthy of having every single thing that you desire in your life. So I'm doing it to walk my talk and to embody the very example that I get to be for every single one of you. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to see what comes through this, what evolves from me, and the conversations that I'm going to be having on this podcast. And something that I want every single one of you to know, whether you're watching or listening, there's nothing more powerful than your conviction. If you've been thinking about starting something, launching a business, beginning whatever your vision is, launching your mission into existence, there's nothing that's more powerful than your decision. When you finally decide to go all in on whatever it is that you want, the universe is going to support you. The things that you need to have it happen are going to show up and align in exactly the right timing. And I just want you to know that I get to be that example for every single one of you. And when I finally decided, I have no more reasons. I don't have a single reason to wait. There's literally no reason for me to procrastinate this any longer. I just made the decision, and in a matter of days, I'm here. I have this beautiful set. I have an incredible team to support me in making it happen. And you can do it. Whatever it is that you want to create, you can do it. So for those of you who have no idea who I am, I'll give you a little backstory. Once upon a time, I was navigating some really significant challenges in my life. Way back in high school, I was bullied. I was teased a lot. I was made fun of. And this story that I made up, the whole interpretation that I made up about me and my life, was that I didn't matter, that I didn't fit in, that I wasn't cool. And all I wanted was to fit in once upon a time. And what I finally realized after a lot of work and a lot of self-discovery was that I was never really actually born to fit in. I was born to stand out. And that is something that I really, really want every single one of you to know, is that you were born to stand out. You're not supposed to fit in. You're not supposed to blend with the masses. If you're listening to this, watching this right now, you're a leader. And what does that mean? That means that you're not supposed to blend in with the masses. So I just want you to know that. And at this time in my life, when I was 17, I would lay in bed at night and wish that I could witness my own funeral, because I believed that I didn't have any friends, that nobody cared about me. And so I had this really interesting, dark fantasy that I could witness my own funeral and then be able to see who would show up and who ultimately would miss me and mourn my death. And it really got to this point where I decided that that was really dark and I didn't actually want to experience that, because then what would I do with that information? So then I kind of did a little pivot and I thought, what would it look like if I were to be in some kind of an accident that would be serious enough for me to be in the ICU? Then I would see who would show up to my hospital room, and I would think about it and I would obsess about it. And me not knowing anything about law of attraction or the power of thoughts, I ultimately wound up manifesting a head trauma accident. I fell 14 feet from a hayloft, landed on my head on concrete, rushed to the ICU in a coma. And the doctors were doing all these routine blood work tests on me, and they discovered that type 1 diabetes was developing in my body. So that was a whole blessing that I couldn't have possibly imagined or thought of. And that experience was something that really supported me in understanding the power of my thoughts, and more on that later. But I learned very, very quickly that not only do I have the power to manifest what I want, but also the power to manifest what I don't want. We got to be super explicit about what it is that we want to create. And oftentimes, if we're not specific or explicit enough, the universe will handle it for us, but not in the way that we ultimately originally thought. So I was in the hospital in this coma. Doctors were preparing my parents for the absolute worst case scenario. They said, we just want to let you know that Jenna likely will not wake up anytime soon. When and if she does, she'll never be the same. And actually, the doctors were right about one thing. the fact that I would never be the same, because I woke up the next day from this coma and I woke up with brain damage. I had no short-term memory. I lost the majority of my vocabulary. And I woke up a different person, though. It was almost like I started to look at life with a completely different perspective. It was like I was looking through this different lens, and I was so confused about why all of these people were in my hospital room. There were so many people that showed up to my hospital room, quote unquote, bullies, friends were showing up with flowers, ditching school, coming to visit me. People were flying in from all over the country and wanting to visit me and just see how I was doing because they deeply cared about me. And so I got the validation that I asked for, but definitely not in the most ideal way. But I got to learn the power of our thoughts and the power of my thoughts. And this whole journey completely gave me a second chance at life because I woke up with gratitude. I woke up and realized that I was ultimately given a second chance. And I was in the hospital for a week. About, I think it was maybe I had one day left of the stay in the hospital, and the doctors were having a meeting with my parents. I'll never forget this. Even though I don't remember a lot from around this time, I'll never forget this moment. The doctor was talking to my mom, and he said, I just really want to be direct and explicit that I believe it's going to be very, very challenging for Jenna to make a full recovery, and I don't think she's going to be able to graduate from high school on time. So that moment, him basically assuming that I would not be able to do it, created this sensation, this frequency, this fire in my belly. I'll never forget this sensation. He said she shouldn't even try. And I thought to myself, because I couldn't put my thoughts into words yet, I thought, you don't know me. I'm like, I am going to graduate from high school on time, and therefore I did. And I made a very clear conviction. In that moment, I said, I am going to graduate on time. And that's what solidified the power of I am for me. And I went home and I was carried into my room because I couldn't really walk on my own yet. I was carried into my room and my whole room was covered in banners. There were posters all over my wall signed from the entire school. It was an incredible display of love from people that I never even thought or considered had any love for me. And so I just, again, got this validation, but it wasn't the external validation that I needed. What I needed was to love myself and to affirm my own worth and my own value and my own capacity to create whatever I wanted. So that whole experience was really powerful and solidifying for me because I had the opportunity to overcome some of the biggest challenges. I got to relearn how to read and write and communicate and put my thoughts into words. And I was so diligent and so committed to graduating from high school on time, class of 2000. And I missed about 3 weeks of school and wound up graduating from high school on time with the highest GPA that I'd ever had. And that's because I made up my mind. I said, I am going to graduate from high school on time, and therefore I did. So I'm saying all of this because I'm giving you a backstory about what ultimately shaped me as a leader. I knew that I got to use my voice for the voiceless. I became very passionate about health and fitness because of the type 1 diabetes diagnosis. And because of the diagnosis, I went all in on health and fitness and became a personal trainer. Moved to Los Angeles when I was 23. My first private client was Ben Stiller, and the rest is history. I worked with a lot of really powerful people in Los Angeles for a very, very long time. I supported countless companies, CEOs, organizations, and shifting the culture at their business through my coaching and through my life's work. And so I just want you to know that I'm able to trace back all of that whole life experience, all the way back to that accident, all the way back to the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. And I see all of it as a gift. I see the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes as a gift. I see my accident, my head trauma accident, as the best thing that ever happened for me, not to me. And I'm able to look at life in such a way because of that opportunity that I got to choose my life. I got to claim my purpose through my pain. I turned my pain into my power. And every single one of you, you have the ability to overcome whatever it is that you're navigating in your life right now. The universe is not going to give you anything that you can't handle. The universe is only going to give you the very thing that you're here to create. You're being forged for something. Every single experience you've had in your life, it's been an opportunity for you to remember who you are. You're being developed for your purpose. You're being forged and sharpened and strengthened for the very thing that you're here to fulfill in this lifetime. And I think back to other experiences in my life. I was also sexually abused when I was 6 years old, and I was raped when I was 29. And those experiences also contributed significantly to my leadership because I'm able to understand the power and the struggle and the pain and the grief and the difficulty in what even to do with that kind of trauma. And I know for sure that a lot of people who are listening to this, you have some experience in your life that feels like it happened to you, or it feels like it was the worst thing. But I want to say that you've overcome 100% of your worst days. There's not a single thing that has the power to take you out in this lifetime. You're watching this, you're listening to this right now because you are strong, because you are worthy, you're valuable, you're meant for greatness, you're destined for greatness. You're not listening to this or watching this on accident. You're here because there's something that resonated with you, with me, with all of this, with this message. I believe in you, every single one of you. If you're listening to this, it's because you are extraordinary. And I deeply care about the experiences that you've had in your life in such a way that you get to remember that you're not a victim. Nothing has ever happened to you. Nobody has the power to harm you, to harm your feelings even for that matter. You have the ability to create the exact life that you want when you choose a powerful interpretation, when you remember that you're untouchable, when you remember that your soul is infinite, when you know that the only thing that you are and have ever been is your consciousness and your awareness. That's what you are. That's who you are. This body, this meat suit that we're walking around in, this is temporary, but your consciousness and your awareness is infinite and it's truly forever. And when you can understand the power of your thoughts and you can understand that your thoughts are not who you are, you're not your thoughts, you are not the experiences that you've had, you're infinite, you're powerful, you're capable, you're extraordinary, you're one of a kind. When you can tap into that belief and you can lead with that everywhere you go, every single day, then you have your power. Not the economy, not who is in office or not in office, not the current administration, not what's happening in the world. I mean, think about it. If we keep waiting for other leaders to save us, then we're giving our power away. You are autonomous, you are sovereign, you are infinite, you are powerful. There is nobody on the face of this planet who's more powerful or more capable than you. When you go all in on your vision, all in on your I am, who you authentically are, you truthfully become unstoppable. So that's my vision. That's my mission. So again, it is never, ever, ever too late. After a very, very long life in fitness, training a ton of celebrities, working with huge organizations, I decided to go all in on human behavior, emotional intelligence, and somatic practices. And I launched a leadership academy with my husband, and that's been going strong. Ascension Leadership Academy has been going strong and going very, very well. We've coached over 4,500 leaders from all over the world for the last 9.5 years. And it's just been the most incredible, extraordinary, fulfilling experience of my life to do this work with my husband and also our business partner, Chris Lee. And I also decided last year, because I'm so happy, I'm fulfilled, everything is great. And I'm like, there's also something else that's been tapping on my shoulder for a very long time. And that is a lifelong vision of making music, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense at the age of 42 because I got kids, I got a business, and got a lot of things going on. It doesn't make a lot of sense to start a music career. But I said, you know what? I literally have no reason to not do it. I have all these made up reasons, all these false limitations, but none of that is real. And because I decided to go all in on creating music, making music, and offering music that's going to transform the planet, I manifested an incredible team to have it happen. I manifested the most amazing manager who managed Miley Cyrus for 10 years and Lil Nas X for 3 years, and a vocal coach who is just out of this world. Her name is Mindy Pack, and she's Justin Timberlake's vocal coach. So we can say that that's not normal, or we can say that, of course, that happened because I decided to go all in on it. If we keep waiting for the right time, if we keep waiting for permission from other people, the right time will never come. Because I decided to go all in on my vision, the right support system showed up for me. And that's true for you too. It's not just because of who I am or what my life is. I've had a pretty extraordinary life, but I also come from really humble beginnings as well. And so this kind of magic is not just for a hand select, very small amount of people. It's literally available for every single person on the planet. When you decide to go all in your vision, when you decide to say, I'm worthy of having the life that I want, I'm worthy of being a published author, I'm worthy of being a best-selling author, I'm worthy of being on stages, I'm worthy of starting a music career. When you go all in on that vision, the right support will show up for you. So I started training my voice last year at the end of 2024, and I went up writing and creating 9 songs. I also recently launched my very first single as a singer-songwriter, and I decided to make another pivot and go all in on being an EDM artist. And so more on that as well. So just know that this new expression of myself is through EDM music, and my coaching, my leadership, my transformational messages are still very alive in this music. So I'm not giving up this part of my life. I love to be a stand for people. I love to be in contribution to others. And that's also why I'm starting this podcast, because I believe that I have a message. And I believe that my love for humanity is going to show up in every single thing that I touch. No matter what product I create, whatever song that I produce and release into the world, my love for humanity is going to be so clear. So whatever it is that you have going on in your world right now, just know that it's temporary. Just know that this is the beginning of an extraordinary chapter. I'm really excited to get to know you. I want to hear from you. I want to learn about you. I want to know what keeps you up at night. And I would love to also hear from you about people that you would love to see on this show. I have a huge lineup of incredible people, leaders with big visions, people who have overcome extraordinary challenges, very, very dear friends of mine, people who are mentors of mine, people I look up to. And I cannot wait to share them with you because these human beings have such a powerful vision and a powerful message. And the common thread through for all of us is that we all had this one moment where we decided, I'm so much more and bigger than my current experience, this current reality, this person that I've become. I'm so much bigger than this. And what I'm destined for and what I want to experience is above and beyond what I've allowed myself to experience so far. So that is a really powerful, pivotal moment that not only will they be sharing with every single one of you, but my hope and my invitation for you is that you decide it's your time. And maybe you get to be on this show one day as well, sharing about your story, how you were inspired to one day go all in on becoming a doctor, becoming an author, publishing your own podcast, launching your movement, creating that nonprofit that you've always wanted to have, travel the world just because you said so, be a paid traveler just because you said so. There's literally no limit to what you can create in this lifetime. And I would love to fan your flames. I would love to be the person who is holding that lantern and creating light on the path, and that you get to walk forward, and that you remember that I'm a companion for you, that I'm going to embody the very thing that I talk about also in my book that's coming out very, very soon, I Am Her Now, teaching women how to be the future versions of themselves right now. Because you're worthy of claiming your confidence right now. You're worthy of deciding that you're valuable right now. Whatever it is that you want in your life, you can have it, you can create it, you can attract it, you can manifest it. And the biggest thing that I see for you is learning how to collapse that timeline by changing the internal conversation, the internal dialogue that you've been allowing yourself to experience up to this point. And just know that I love you and I believe in you. I cannot wait to go on this journey with you. Some topics that we're going to be covering on this podcast: manifestation. What is it? It's not as woo-woo as it sounds. You all have the ability to manifest whatever it is that you want. And I know a lot of really incredible, powerful experts in all things life, business, relationships, success, money, all of it. And they're going to be sharing their special secret sauce tips about how they've been able to manifest all the magic in their life. And what I want you to know is you also have the ability to manifest what you want. This is a big thing that I break down a lot in my book, I Am Her Now. And you'll be able to really just adapt to a new way of thinking, because it really can be that simple. It's not as difficult as you may think it is. And the biggest thing that you do get to realize is every single thing that you want, you're already connected to that. There's nothing outside of it that you cannot have. If you want it, you get to be the vibrational frequency for whatever it is that you desire. So that's a little quick manifestation 101, but just know that you're going to have a lot of different guests to learn from all throughout this journey who have really understood how to master the art of manifestation. We're also going to be talking about partnership. I'm a stand for connected, deep, loving, authentic relationships, monogamous unions. That's something that I firmly believe in. I'm a huge stand for people to strengthen the family unit. And you're going to be able to learn from a lot of different guests who have also brought their own magic to their relationship. And they're going to be able to share some of the really challenging things that they've overcome, because every single relationship is hard. There's not a single relationship that is easy. And if you're willing to do the work, the kind of relationship that you'll be able to have is extraordinary. and you're worthy of that. I remember a time in my life where I was wondering where my person was. I was wondering where my person was. It did not make any sense why I could not manifest my person. But what I finally realized was I was on the hunt. I was on the hunt for my person. I was looking everywhere. I wasn't creating any space for my partner to find me. And the kind of man that I really wanted was someone who was in his masculine, somebody who was going to counterbalance the part of myself that I was actually afraid to embody, and that was my feminine energy. I believe for a very long time that the feminine energy of me and inside of me wasn't safe, and I didn't trust it. And so I was always in my masculine, and that worked on the surface. I mean, I created a lot of success, and I had a lot of evidence to believe that my masculine energy was actually my strength. And what I want to say about that to you specifically is every single thing that exists, there is masculine and feminine. There's nothing wrong with the masculine. There's nothing wrong with the feminine. There is the unhealed masculine, the unhealed feminine, and there's also the deep, sacred, healed, sovereign masculine and feminine. And when you can create that balance, especially in a relationship, then you know when to swap, because sometimes I got to be in my masculine. I got to focus on my stuff. And sometimes I really just want to be in my feminine. Actually, more times than not. I used to always be in my masculine. But when I finally decided to turn off that masculine, that knee-jerk reaction of always being in my masculine drive, that's when I was able to create the exact environment that was necessary for me to attract my person. So I powerfully proclaimed and declared out loud to the universe, I am worthy of being found by an incredible partner who will love, honor, cherish, and respect me. And then 3 days later, my husband, Brad Ballard, found me on Match.com. So yes, it works. This is like way before the apps. I mean, this was like way back in the day. But it was just really beautiful because I finally decided to stop hunting. I was no longer on this mission to find my person. I allowed myself to be found. And that is something that I want every single woman who's listening to this right now. You get to allow yourself to be courted. You are worthy of being pursued. You are worthy of being chased after. And the kind of person that you're wanting to call into your space, that masculine counterpart, you got to create the space for him to lead the way. And I know that it can be really scary. Obviously, the way that our culture has been designed and structured, this whole rise of feminism, I mean, I actually think that's one of the biggest reasons why the family unit has been broken down. And I love being confident with that boss babe energy, but I also really love being led by my person. I love it when Brad leads the way. I love feeling like he's the provider. And even though we both contribute to our family significantly, I love having that feeling, knowing that he can lead. And so I really want you to hear me, ladies, the powerhouses that you are, the legacy builders that you are. Yes, you can create your dreams. And yes, you also can just take a break, because I know how exhausting it is. I know how exhausting it is to constantly be in your masculine. It's not sustainable, not even for men. Another topic we're going to cover is motherhood. And this is something that I have loved becoming a mother. I am a mom boy ×2. I have 2 extraordinary boys, and it's such an honor for me to be able to lead the next generation of men. And it's just a constant dance. And I would say that being a mom is literally the hardest thing in the whole world, but it's also one of the most incredible and most rewarding experiences that I've been able to have. And I always saw myself as a girl mom. I never imagined myself being a boy mom, but it's something that I believe that we all get what we need when it comes to children. And these boys, man, they have been my biggest teachers, and I can't imagine it being any other way. So really understanding how to have that balance while I still go after my dreams, while I still am exploring different ways to express my art and create things, and also be in collaboration, still be dating my husband and still have a social life. It's such a dance. And that's one of the things that I believe is going to really set you up, just understanding what it means to have that kind of balance in life, because I know that you can do it. If I can do it, so can you. We're also going to be covering leadership. If you just kind of like look around the world right now, I probably would say that you're willing to bet there's a shortage of responsible leadership. And I'm committed to changing that. I'm committed to instilling leadership in as many people as possible, because again, I'm not going to wait for leaders, politicians, global leaders to change things for us. It's really up to us at the end of the day. And I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine a world with as many people as possible living as fully expressed leaders. They're going all in on their vision. They're loving their life. They're loving what they're doing, and they're living their purpose. What kind of a world do you think we would have? That's the kind of world that I see as not only possible, but doable, especially in this lifetime. It really just comes down to us knowing that we're all in this together. There's no separation. We're not against each other. We're all on the same ship. And so we want to keep this ship afloat, and we may as well enjoy it while we are on this beautiful ride called life, especially me being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and having health and biohacking be such a centerpiece of my life. I really want to pass on this way of life, this living that you can create for yourself. Leadership, love, health, fitness, living abundantly, manifestation, creating your most epic life. We're also going to be talking about community and how to build tribe, because that's something that we all deeply desire. We're not meant to do life alone. We're meant to do life together. And when you have an incredible tribe of people all around you, supporting you, fanning your flames, then that's how your life starts to happen in ways that you never even fathomed. And this whole set, this podcast, this show happened because of a very dear friend of mine. I saw his podcast and I was like, that set, it's gorgeous. Where is it? And he very generously shared it with me. And whatever it is that you want to create right now, you already have the exact resources that you need at your fingertips. You just get to trust that all you need to do is ask and put it out there. Because if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be N-O, no. No way, Jose. So I really want you to be in the practice of consistently creating opportunities for you to ask for things that seem totally audacious. I mean, starting this podcast is maybe an audacious thing, but I'm doing it because I want to. And whatever it is that you want to create in your life, you get to do it because you want to. You don't need a valid reason. You just literally get to do it. Because I guarantee you this, if you get to the end of your life and you are about to transition back into the light and you start doing a little assessment, you start to review the tapes about how you lived your life up to that point, I don't want you to be in the place where you realize that you could have lived a much bigger life, a better life, a more extraordinary life, a more generous life. I don't want you to feel like you left anything on the table. There are so many places to explore and visit and travel to all over the world. There are infinite opportunities waiting for you every single day. I definitely did not want to get to the end of my life and look back and go, man, I never started a music career because I believed that I was too old to start. I never started a podcast because I believed that there were too many out there already, and who's going to listen to mine? I decided to overcome those limitations and those fears. And because of that, it's now happening. It's now a reality. You're watching it in real time. Whatever it is that you've been wanting to do for a long time, whatever it is you want to create, manifest, attract, experience, witness, cause, you can do it. And my whole vision and my intention for this entire podcast, and while you're watching and coming along for the ride, is that you're inspired. Every single episode inspires you to reach deep inside of your heart and look in the crevices of your soul and uncover those parts of you that have been hiding for so long because you've been enrolled in your own limitations and your perceived lack. There is nothing that you cannot create. If you start to explore the possibility of it all working out versus what if it doesn't work out? And you start thinking about, well, what if it does work out? What if it goes better than I ever could have fathomed? Then you create the space for the infinite possibilities to happen for you, through you, and from you, moment by moment, day by day, because you said so. And that's the power that you have. That's the courage that's available for you. So borrow some of my courage until you can claim your own. Just know that I see you, I believe in you, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to I Am with Jenna Phillips Ballard. I'll see you soon.